All right, with more on tonight and the race for the presidency, I am joined by a couple of guests, one from Washington, Solon Simmons, an assistant professor at the Institute for Conflict Analysis and Resolution at George Mason University, specializing in American politics. And from London, Ontario, Donald Abelson, director of the Canada-U.S. Institute at the University of Western Ontario, my old alma mater. Good evening, gentlemen. Thanks to both of you for being here.
Nice to see you.
Good evening, Marcia. Thanks for having us.
Let's begin by talking about tonight and who really is paying attention to the debate. Donald Abelson, I'll start with you.
Well, I think voters throughout the United States are will be paying very close attention to the debate tonight. They want to get a sense of how well Governor Romney or former Governor Romney is going to be able to handle himself against other Republicans. The Iowa caucus is very important, as we all know. It'll take place late 2011, early 2012. So people want to get a sense of if Romney has the stuff to go on in the campaign and to do a whole lot better than he did in 2008. We're also waiting to see if Rick Perry, the governor of Texas, will enter the race. We should know something by Saturday. So it'll be a very interesting debate this evening.
Solon, your thoughts on that? Will Mitt Romney solidify his position of front runner after this debate?
Well, I think he is the front runner. You know, when I look at the Republican field, it seems to me there are many interesting characters, but there are only three serious candidates right now. And Romney is one of those, Tim Pawlenty is another, and Rick Perry of Texas is the one who we're waiting to see come in. Each of them has a problem, though, and I think that the Republican field is still fairly weak, and they have to solidify not only their own position relative to their peers, but they have to solidify their position more generally vis-a-vis the president, because although the president is having difficulty right now, I don't think the Republican candidates are necessarily strong right now. Pawlenty simply doesn't pass the plausibility test. He has everything right, but he doesn't play the part very well. He's not aggressive enough, and he doesn't differentiate himself well enough. Maybe he can do that tonight. Romney has the problem which Pawlenty had highlighted, which is Obamacare. His policy is effectively Barack Obama's signature issue on a state, not a national level. And the problem with Perry is he's a Texan. He's more Texas than George Bush. And it's not clear if we're willing to go that far back in the direction of that kind of conservatism at this point. I mean, it may well be he seems to be, of the three, in a sense, he seems to be most primed to step in and really grab some attention. But he's also extremely conservative. And right now, the Republican Party is such a purist party that you've got to have somebody like Romney. Perry can do this, but if he can move to the center, but you've got to have somebody who can not just win in the nomination, but can also take this to the general election and beat Obama, who's going to be very formidable no matter what problems in the economy he's facing.
Well, that's an interesting point, and I'll go next to you, Donald. Obama is at 43%. In approval ratings. Can he rebound? And he's got this noose with the economy around his neck. It seems that he can't seem to shake no matter what he does.
Well, we know that the 2012 election is going to have one major issue, and that's the economy. If we go back to 1991, as my colleague well knows, George Bush, senior, not junior, was riding at over 80% in the polls at the height of the Gulf War and still managed to lose the election in 1992 to Bill Clinton, in large part because it was no longer about foreign policy, it was all about the economy. So you're absolutely right. Barack Obama is sitting at about 43% in the polls. He's just survived the recent national debt crisis. There are not a lot of wins he can, not a lot of issues he can place in the win column right now. And so he has a lot of obstacles along the way. This is going to be a very ugly and dirty campaign. I would say that Rick Perry probably has a very good chance of stealing the Republican presidential nomination, in large part because he is so conservative and he is going to play to the Republican base. I think his Achilles heel is going to be on the issue of immigration. Some might perceive him as being a little too soft in Texas, but I think he's going to give Romney a heck of a run for his money, and I think in the end he could end up taking the party's nomination.
So, Solon, what will Obama's message be then if he ends up going against either Romney or Rick Perry from Texas? Because the hope, I don't want to say it's died, but obviously he can't use that message again. So what will it be in 2012?
The problem is he's got to run as an incumbent with a change message. And he's got to run, this is how I see it, he's got to effectively make this about the economy, and he's got to have some kind of economic villain. He's got to introduce drama into this campaign for a guy who likes no drama. I think that what he's going to have to do is he's going to have to have a quality message to match the freedom message of the Republican Party. You're going to see a lot of no taxes, individuality, liberty in the Founding Fathers. What Barack Obama is going to have to do is he's going to have to play to the old New Deal idea of Social Security, more general than just the old age insurance, but it's going to have to be a secure and equal society protecting social rights as well as individual rights. He doesn't like to play that. That's where the Democratic Party is going. In fact, the problem with Barack Obama right now is he looks weak in standing up to the Republicans, not in standing up to foreign enemies. And so that's his big challenge, is to say, can he stand up to the Republican Party? Can he fight for the people who put him there? He has a problem on the left, which he has not had to this point, and it's extremely shrill and surprising even at this stage of the game.
Donald Abelson, you get the last word. I've got a few seconds left.
Yeah. Well, I think the problem is he's had plenty of drama over the last number of months, and he hasn't really risen to the occasion. I agree in the sense that he's going to have to placate the left wing of the Democratic Party, but he's going to have to come up with something new. He made a speech in Grant Park on the night of the election, claiming that he'd be able to bring America together. If anything, it has pulled itself apart. So he's going to have to come up with a new issue, a new platform to reinvent himself leading into 2012.
All right, Donald Abelson, Solon Simmons, thank you both for being with us. I'm excited to be talking about this election already. We'll talk to you again soon.
Here we are again.
Here we are again. You got
Look
that
forward
right.
to it.
Good night now.
Exactly.